All right, hello photo class. I thought I would start. Many of you don't even know who I am. Some of the classes I teach this semester, I've been meeting with them for the first half of the semester. So I thought I'd do a quick introduction. I'm Brian Baugh. I'm your professor for the digital photo class, and this is my backyard. I thought I would start outside today. What I'm going to do today is talk to you a little bit about using your phone as a camera. So what I'm using right now is just my iPhone to record this on. And so I'm going to talk you through some settings and how to use your phone as a camera. So I think that even if you have a digital SLR, a bigger, better camera you're going to use for the class, you should probably consider learning how to use your phone better, because that's what you're always going to have in your pocket, and there's some ways that you can use it better than you've probably been using it. So I'm going to talk to you about that today. I'm gonna head in the house here and walk through. Oh, there's the Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
First, I wanted to prop this up in the mirror and show you what my setup is. One of the things that you can use is a tripod for your camera. So even though this is a little teeny tiny phone, you can get some pretty inexpensive little tripods and attachments, and this one works pretty well. So excuse the messy kitchen. It's really weird working from home, but it's what we're all doing right now. So I basically set up a little still life with a spotlight. You can use just a simple desk lamp. You don't need a fancy light. And if you have a good tripod or access to a good tripod at home, you can buy this little attachment that I have that I just showed you in the mirror. It'll attach to a bigger tripod as well. So all right, so what I wanted to talk to you about in terms of using your, let's see, hang on. All right, oh, just checking to make sure I'm still recording. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just using the app that came with the phone. So if you have an iPhone, you just click on your little camera app here and pop that on. And so this is my little setup. Totoro, and my wife tells me that's Rafiki in the background. She said not to call him a baboon. So anyway, so I just wanted to talk to you about the controls that you have. So you may have another brand of phone than an iPhone, but generally they all have cameras these days. And so so you might try out how the app works on the default app on your phone. You may try that out, and it may work great. I find that the default app on the iPhone is not really all that good. It gives you a little bit of control over the camera, but not a whole lot. So I just wanted to show you what you can control. So for example, you can go in, and if you don't touch the screen and just take a photo, it just kind of default shoots a shot for you. But if you want to take a little bit more control over it, you can tap the screen, and that tells it where to focus and where to expose from. And so if you click and then drag, you can make it darker or lighter when you do that. So, or you can click on the background. You notice it's going to focus on the monkey, Rafiki, and that my foreground is going out of focus. And the foreground is really bright, but it's exposed really well. So it's choosing focus and exposure in one zone, and which generally works okay, but sometimes you want to split those and you want to take control over it yourself. And there's really no way on the iPhone other than just clicking and dragging. Oops, I just messed that up. So I'm just drag that up and down to darken or lighten it. So that's pretty much our controls. We can control where it's focusing, either in the foreground or the background, and that's also where the exposure zone is, and we can mess with that a little bit. There's also a way to go in and turn on a grid for composing. I think you have to do that in settings separately. You can also change things to a square. Squares are really kind of cool to compose too, and they change your sense of composition and how you think about composition. So instead of thinking with a rectangle, you're working with a square format. Some really cool old style cameras that shot in square format that kind of mimics. So I'm going to get out of here though. What I recommend everyone do, and if you're only using your camera on your phone, then I want you to download an app. So I'm using something called ProCamera. So it's right here on my screen. And so, oh, that's still set up in reverse camera. I figured out how to record from just record my screen, which is a really cool thing. And if anyone wants to learn how to do that, I can show you how to do that. It's really easy to do. So I'm actually just recording what I see on the screen on my phone, which is a really handy trick. So now I'm in this app called ProCamera, which costs $5.99. So it's kind of funny how we think of apps. If you pay 99 cents for an app, that's a good price. Free's even better, but paying $6 for an app feels like spending $1,000. It's really kind of weird, but so it's expensive for an app, but really cheap in the realm of photography. It costs about $6 just for a little, you know, an SD card to pop into your camera. All right, so the controls that we have here, this really opens things up quite a lot. So let me just make sure it's set in the correct setting first of all. So if you click this button here, I'm clicking on this thing that looks like a half moon or a partial moon, and just accidentally took a photo. But if you click to the left of that where those little three dots are, it then opens up some options. So you can set it on selfie mode, and that'll flip the camera around to the camera that faces you. And it's actually designed to take better selfies. You know, it does better with skin tones and so forth. Low light mode, that's for if you're taking night shots or shooting in pretty dim conditions. Low light plus is actually one of the things that I found on these second-party apps for your phone is that it's really hard to find an app that will shoot for longer than like a third of a second. Sometimes you want to do really long exposures when you take photos. That gives you like those light trails you see where someone can draw with a flashlight. You know, you need about a 5-second or 10-second exposure to do that. Low light plus will do that. It doesn't do it very well, and you actually have to pay extra for it. It's like an extra $3.99 to add that. So I tried it out. I don't really recommend it that much. HDR is when you combine multiple images to get a really dramatic exposure. I'll talk about that in a future lesson. You can shoot video on this. I'm just going to select photo and just shoot regular photos. All right, so you might pause this if this is, you know, getting to be a bit much, but I'll keep going though. So in the lower right corner where you see that red dot that says 1, it looks like there might be an update or something. If I click that, that gives me the controls that I have over this app. And so if it's in blue, that means it's what it's set on, that it's on so that you can see it on the thing. So there's a number of things on here, like in the upper left, you can see rapid fire. That's if you were shooting sports and you wanted to get like the perfect shot of someone dunking a basketball. That would shoot like 10 shots in a row really fast. And that's a pretty advanced professional thing. So what this app basically does is that it gives you professional controls over the camera that's built into your phone. So if you don't have an iPhone, I don't have any phone other than an iPhone, so I wasn't able to try other apps out. But look around, there's a lot of things. I'll send you some links too of possible apps to use if you have like a Samsung Galaxy or one of the other type of phones. So grids, that's a good one to turn on for looking at your composition. And so this has several options, so I'll go and get back out of here. And so now you can see that sort of light overlay of grids there, and you could move your composition around, so you can move your camera around so that maybe Totoro's eye is on this top little section of the grid there. And I could move this character, maybe I would set him up so that he's somewhere else on the grid. Maybe I just perfectly align him with this little line on the grid. And so forth. So you could use that to use what's called rule of thirds composition. So that's something you could turn on. I'm just going to go and turn that back off. This has a number of options on grids. I've just got that back off. Tilt meter is if you were shooting a landscape, say with the ocean, a horizon line in it. That will allow you to, when this thing is perfectly aligned, you see how that line in the middle just goes straight up green. And so if you're out of tilt, it's white, and when you find that you're perfectly lined up, it'll go green. So that's kind of a useful thing if you're shooting landscape and trying to make sure things are straight. I generally turn things off that I'm not actively using, just because you don't want the picture to be too cluttered up with all the stuff sitting on top of it. What else can I talk to you about? Let's see. We'll go with. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here and then shoot another video because it's a little bit easier to upload YouTube videos that are shorter in length. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second.